Hey everybody, Icy Cat here. Today we're going to be reviewing the new Pro League Gold sets for Year 2, Season 1. Now if you want to know what you get for your money before you spend it, then stick around as we go over all the details next. The new Pro League Year 2 Season 1 Gold sets can be found in the shop under the Digital Content tab. Like all content in this area of the shop, it is only available for real-world money only. You cannot purchase anything here for Renown or Rainbow credits. You can get the complete pack for $15.99 US, or if you want to get them individually, they're about $7 each, but if you're only going to get one, that's the only way that's really going to make any sense. Otherwise, if you plan on picking up at least two, just go for the 4-pack. The new Pro League bundle sets do include a lot more value than they used to previously, and here's why. Taking a look at this, you can see we now get Pro League uniform sets. So these are the same kind of patterns as far as like the black with the gold trim. You can see here that we've got a lot of those accents on the uniform, especially on Blitz's shoulder pads. This is nice to see because Blitz had actually probably the most drab uniform by default in the game. It was just pretty much head to toe colorless. Let's get a closer look of the headgear here so we can see a little bit closer detail of the carbon fiber helmet with the gold accents. And we can see this band of like gold engraving that's just a little bit more luxurious and rich in its detail. Now, another piece of value you get with the bundle pack for these shield operators is they also get an included shield skin. So here we can see that his shield is covered in a carbon fiber material. There's some yellow and now an interesting red accent striping on that, which is a new addition for the Pro League skin packs. At the bottom of the shield, there's also a strip of engraving that has more reds and golds in it. And then as we pan around to the back of the shield, we can also see that there's a lot of metallic strips there. Of course, that's the side of the shield that you'll be spending the most time looking at from your perspective. A close-up also shows the solid gold chibi that's included with this pack sitting on the ledge here. Now, if you have any kind of a charm attached to a shield, it will go on the clip up there, and they will actually have those in a seated position with their heads bouncing around, looking a little bit more like a car bobblehead than a weapon charm. The weapon skins themselves are very nice looking this time around. Previous versions were purely carbon fiber with some gold accents, but here we have all kinds of extra detail work going on. We'll notice again that yellow strip with the red edging on it, and then down below that same pattern again with the red and the golds and the fine detail work that's there. This is a very nice looking skin. It has subtle reflectivity, but it's not too much overall. Here we'll get a shot of the shield in-game, and you can see what it looks like when it's rendered with all the various lighting effects. It's a very high-quality, nice-looking texture and material, and we get a good view of this as a complete collection with the uniform, shield skin, weapon skin, and headgear. Now let's take a look at Montaigne's uniform, and we can see here there's even more gold trim going on, with some of the sections of his leg armor looking kind of like hazard stripes and then solid blocks of gold plating on either shoulder, as well as on the forearm of his pistol hand. A closer look at the helmet reveals that we have the similar treatment of the carbon fiber, and the neck guard is done in kind of that higher quality, luxurious pattern that we saw on Blitz. The shield is going to be a very similar scheme here, and what you can't tell from this when the shield is actually expanded, you do get that same yellow and red stripe across the front. We'll show that in a minute. And then coming around to the backside, we have a very padded material here. It's kind of like this red leather almost material that's padded throughout, and it has the gold accents all around. A closer look at the chibi reveals that it's pretty much the same thing as Blitz. He just sits there in the corner. And the weapon skin here is very similar. Both pistols are going to look kind of similar. There's really not much difference between them other than just a little bit of the shape of the gun and the way that the texture is laid out on it. Here's an in-game shot of what it looks like with the shield fully extended. So now you can see with the plate extended downward that reveals that stripe of the yellow and the red across the top there. Once again, very high quality textures and materials used in this. Next up is Pulse, and we can see his uniform almost reminds me a bit of Bandit's jacket with that yellow stripe running down on either arm. But then he also has the yellow accents on his gloves as well as the bright yellow knee pads. Those could actually stand out a little bit at distance, so be careful of that. A closer look at his headgear reveals that the sunglasses have that little yellow and red stripe on either side, as well as just this material done with that high quality pattern again. Here's a close-up of Pulse's solid gold chibi. Like all the gold chibis, it looks exactly like the non-gold version. It's just been given a gold-plated treatment. The weapon skin itself has far more carbon fiber on it than the pistol patterns did, with a little bit less of the gold trim and the patterning found on the other ones. Finally, we have a look at Frost, and this is actually my favorite of the four. It's just such a high contrast from her default uniform. You're used to seeing her in that head-to-toe sort of like white and gray with like blue accents. You know, it's kind of like the same sort of color pattern from head to toe. And this is about as opposite of that as you can get. The blacks look very tactical and great on her. The golds are a bit bright, but considering that's part of the theme for the Pro League setup, that's to be expected. The accents aren't too brightly overdone, except for maybe on the legs they're a little heavy. And then as we zoom in on the headgear here, we can see that the hat has that same stripe on it, with the scarf having that same pattern as found on Pulse. Even the stuffing on the collar liner has kind of gotten a little bit of a gold tint to it. Close-up shot of her chibi is the same thing as what we saw with Pulse. And again, just a reminder, these are universal charms. You don't have to match up the specific charm with a specific person. You can mix and match these on any gun with any operator. A closer look at her shotgun wrapped in this weapon skin reveals a very nice pattern going on overall. This one is a really cool look to it because it's got the top half in the carbon fiber, but the bottom half is nice and long too, and that's wrapped in that pattern of the red and the gold. Of the weapon skins, this one is one of my favorites. In fact, on the back of the weapon, you'll see the largest stamping for the Rainbow Six symbol. And what you can see here, and we'll see it when we play in game 2, is that at the top of that, there's that little purple strip, which currently denotes what season we're in. Velvet Shell and its operators are associated with the color purple, and you'll see this accent here. So unlike other previous season's Pro League skins, you will know at a glance exactly which one you're in. Of course, this one with the red accents and some of the other features are very different than the ones that came before it, and we don't know what the consecutive seasons will wind up bringing. So as I'm talking here, we're just going to kind of transition over to some gameplay of it in the background with these 4 operators. Just doing a little bit of terrorist hunt so we can run around quickly and just kind of show what it looks like in various lighting conditions. Now, previously, I had some mixed reaction on the Pro League sets. When they first came out, I thought they were really cool, but then it started kind of being like the same thing every season, and I stopped seeing value in it. In fact, the last set that came out, I was asked if I was going to do a review on them, and I was telling people, no, actually I'm not. I mean, once you've kind of seen what they're like, you know, you can take my review for the Season 2 back when Dustline came out, or Season 3 when, you know, the other operators came out with the Skull Rain pack. And they were just getting to be like, okay, carbon fiber with gold every time. You know, well, what does the new pack look like? See the one before it. It's exactly the same. But this is different than the other ones. They've really stepped it up here. And then you've got the included added value of now that we have uniforms, those are included. That alone brings the value up more. And the interesting thing is the price did not increase even though we got added content as part of this. So we're getting a uniform for each of these operators and the price hasn't changed at all. Now, I did feel that the price was high to begin with, so I think that this brings it more into like we're finally beginning to get the value for the money being asked here a little bit better. This especially holds true with both of our shield operators, because you're getting the additional free bonus shield skin thrown in there too. That's something I didn't expect them to do, and it's really nice to see. When you have this kit put on from head to toe and you're stepping out there, you really look like you've embraced the theme of what it is that you spent your money on. When you were only getting a weapon skin before, that was a harder sell. When they began to include the headgear with it, then that made it a little bit better, but still not all that great. Of course, the charms were always part of the deal, but, you know, some people could really take those or leave those. Those weren't really meaty content in and of themselves. But now with these uniforms, we finally have something that really rounds it out a lot better, and the added bonus of these 2 shield skins really kick in the extra value. I'm also a big fan of the extra detailing work that we see here with like these red and these gold accents in the lower half of all the guns, as well as having a little bit of that like black and gold patterning that's on cloth on the couple of defensive operators or on the helmets of the shield operators. It's just a nice little extra touch. And while I did always like the carbon fiber and gold accents that were in part of the previous ones, this just really helps it stand out that much more. The other reason I'm kind of psyched about the uniforms is that, yes, uniforms did come out back in Red Crow. So when Season 4 came out, we got the introduction of uniforms. And then when the Velvet Shell content came out, I was expecting to see a bunch of new uniforms, you know, like they had released some for, you know, maybe 5 or 6 different operators, but then the others hadn't gotten them yet. So my expectation looking forward was, oh, we were going to get some new uniforms pretty soon. And that didn't wind up happening. Velvet Shell came out, and really all we had was like the Rook Elite operator set. And I was like, well, where's all these other, you know, kind of uniforms that I thought were going to be coming? And nothing. So the fact that here's some new operator uniforms is something that I'm very excited to see, especially for some operators that really didn't have any before. Now, granted, Blitz and Montaigne have been getting a couple of shield skins lately, which has been awesome, but they've really packed these bundles full with a lot more features than we used to get. I wanted to also throw out a real quick note and apologize. I wanted to get this content out a little bit sooner, and I had all of this recorded yesterday and wanted to edit it and put it up, and unfortunately, I got a little bit derailed. We had the exciting revelation that Ghost Recon Wildlands was getting a PvP mode that was officially being announced, as well as details on the Season Pass content. So yesterday I refocused my efforts on putting that video content out there to make sure that everybody kind of knew what was going on there, and that meant that this review was going to get put off another day. If you haven't had a chance to check that video out yet, if you're at all interested in Ghost Recon Wildlands, then please do. The link will be up at the end of the video. And the new Ghost Recon game does come out next week. That's Tuesday, March 7th, and I definitely recommend checking it out. So what do you guys think? Do you like the new style change and the new addition to the content for the money? Do you find it a good value, or is it still overpriced to you? Let me know down in the comments below, or share with me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Now, as always, if you want to stay up to date on the latest news, information, tips, tricks, reviews, and more for Rainbow Six Siege, then please like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.